Now it's time for our next debate. Who's up next?
Well, I'll take this one, if that's OK, Darren, because I think your viewers might have seen in Milton Keynes only the other day that over 300 school kids ran amok across the shopping centre. They ran riot, terrifying shoppers and shopkeepers alike, where the police had to come down and issue a dispersal order. And I think it's now time, when you have these unruly kids, that the parents who couldn't be bothered to educate their kids in a particular way, the decent standards that we all adhere to in terms of public life. I think it's now time that parents need to cough up for the bad behaviour of their feral beasts, as you put it earlier on. And I just think that's the way that we need to go. We need to bring parents into...
Have we got a video to watch of that, have we?
There was a clip, I think, earlier on, which might be shown again, but I think it is just time that parents, there it is, 300 outsiders, all in school uniform, terrifying shoppers, as I said before there, and you can just imagine being in that shopping centre in Milton Keynes just when you're doing your weekly shop. And, I didn't think so. I don't know what I was thinking.
I apologise to anyone from Milton Keynes.
Look, Charlie, I agree in principle that parents need to take more responsibility for their children. Perhaps fining parents would kick them up the backside in order for them to do that more. But I suppose the question is, if the parent is someone who can't afford to pay this fine, and therefore they pay the fine and it means that they can't afford food or they can't afford their bills, what does that actually do to help the situation?
It means that the child will be so tired it can't run around like a feral beast because it's had no food.
Wow.
You got there. Starving.
I am joking.
I mean, I was a secondary school teacher, and I'm telling you right now, those kids, now that they have access to social media, TikTok, they can organise their own happenings as much as they like.
Do you think this is what's happened here?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. They've all kind of got onto a little WhatsApp group and they've gone, we're going to do it!
So what would you do about that in your experience then? Is it TikTok that's the problem?
I don't think that TikTok's the problem. I think that there's definitely something here. Like, that, I'm pretty sure that this would have been something that was connected in cyberspace. This is something where they've all got together and, like, what was the motive? Did anybody find out why these 300 kids went nuts?
Well, because they can.
Yeah, but is it just because they can? Is it just because they wanted to create this whole thing and now they've been on the news? Are they going to do it again?
But organising things on social media isn't anything new. I mean, in the riots in 2011, people were doing it on BBM. Now they're just doing it on WhatsApp or TikTok. So I don't think social media is a new thing in this problem.
No, but when the children use social media to organise it, like when you make a mess on social media, do we have to fine your parents?
Well, this is the question.
Yeah,
Benjamin.
I mean, and what do you think about that, though, Diane?
I don't think that's appropriate at all.
You don't?
I don't. I think that the parents are already under enough pressure trying to raise their kids, have the job, get their kids to school, and tell you what, when those kids come back home and the parents have been watching the news and they have spotted their child,
but you know what?
Do not think there's not going to be any retaliation.
Are those parents under that much pressure getting their kids to behave? Because it doesn't look like it's happening. You know, I would ask the question of how good are the parents that have the kids that are going out there behaving like this? Do they really care about their kids? Are they really disciplining them?
So let me
because I tell you what, I would never have behaved like that because I was raised by people that were strict. It wouldn't have mattered.
But you were raised by your grandparents, weren't you? So is it a generational thing in that maybe just parents aren't as strict as perhaps older generations?
Wait a minute.
I think most parents are perfectly capable. I'm just not convinced that the parents of some of those kids are. And so I would also wonder, you know, would the fine do anything? Because if these are parents that aren't seriously engaging with the responsibility they have, is an 80 quid fine going to affect?
Whoa, you have made massive sweeping statements about the ability of these people. This is horrendous. OK, so let me get this straight. Not at one point with little Benjamin growing up, did he ever do anything slightly naughty? Never once.
I never had a detention in my life.
No, I didn't ask that. I didn't ask if you got
you would get a school
caught,
detention
mate.
for something.
I asked if you did it. I didn't ask if you got found out.
I mean, I was obsessively well behaved. I really was.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the water this evening, but I agree with Benjamin again. Honestly, I do. I don't know what's come over me. But I agree with Benjamin. These are people who should not be parents, frankly. They have not got the time. They clearly haven't got the ability to parent. If they cannot do the fundamentals of disciplining their child to make sure that they don't run amok through society, that they don't go running rampage through shopping centres, that they behave badly. But these are the people, these are the people that should be, their kids would come to your classroom as a secondary school teacher and they'd give you hell day after day as a pupil. Those parents need to be absolutely read the Riot Act. They need to pay up for their kids' poor behaviour.
You have no idea what these children are like. You have no idea.
Terrors, obviously, terrors. They're running riots.
No, it was a moment. It was a moment that they all took part in, and they all went, "Oh my God, we're going to do it. We're going to do it." Even the most well-behaved kid, like that one over there, that just got away with it the whole time. Even the most well-behaved kid.
And what about the
they
poor...
were joining in because it was exciting.
But what about the poor pensioner, who I know Benjamin loves our pensioners, obviously, but what about the poor pensioners that were going shopping just peacefully that afternoon? Had 300 kids screaming and shouting,
But also,
confronting security.
Can I just point out...
Good, but you can't blame the parents.
I mean, one of the arguments for fining the parents is that this will have had a very real cost to the area. So there's the policing cost, there's the cost of criminal damage that's likely to have happened, there's the cost if anything was stolen from those shops, and we've seen lots of examples where you get these TikTok-arranged riots. They go into shops, they steal things. Those are all costs that are being borne by other people in that community, so someone should cough up.
So you agree with Darren we should go into lockdown?
Look, I just think
Darren would need to starve the children.
But they were all in uniform. They were all in school uniform, weren't they? So is there not something the school could do, like a mass detention, for example, which could maybe
because
stop them
then
from doing this again?
Then you've created a prison scenario. They'll all learn each other's tricks.
All right, OK. Let us know what you think at home.